because I'd changed my picture and a few of these were commenting going, "Oh, you look guilty as fucking it." So I was playing along in that. And then Auntie V's messaged Neely just looking for the gossip, going, "What's Daniel been up to?" And he's obviously dodged as to why, and she couldn't think anything, so she thought, "Oh, he looks guilty in that picture."
It's topical, Burnsies, because I think was it pre-season she actually leaked her transfer story.
She did,
well.
She did, aye. I can't put it. Was it the goalie, maybe?
Aye. And then she texted Neely Steny have signed a player. Usually it comes from his father, eh?
Aye.
She's got 100% record, like.
Aye.
That's aye.
Better than Romano.
Aye, she's more reliable with bits with Romano, basically.
Or Neely. Good stuff.
That's easy.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Stuff like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron? Huh?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Auntie V breaking the transfers. We need to get that Twitter. Auntie V's breaking news.
Breaking transfers and checking your body language.
Aye.
Daniel, was Neely all right on the Sunday? He turned up.
So he turned up 2 hours later than scheduled.
Sounds like you.
But he powered through. He powered through. It was fine.
He looked Bobby Beetroot like, you could see.
He was definitely fucked when he turned up. But then at the same time, you knew it wasn't normally him because he's always just like, let's get to as many shows as we can, all the free shit and that. And he just couldn't be fucked. We just went to the one show where I'd booked him, just sat at the pubs all day.
I always find that, see the one show I went to, Daniel, it was roasting. Like, and I don't know if it's just like that wherever you go, like that one thing on its own is enough for me to put me off, eh?
An experienced thing for the Fringe is I wear shorts all the time, so I was out in shorts, even though it wasn't that hot. But like a lot of these,
it just felt like it was a fucking sauna wherever you went. Eh? The acts have probably got a big fan, and we're all just fucking sitting there like stewing. Eh?
Aye.
We'll need to do Morons hit the Fringe next year. Like do our own wee show. Let's do a panel one day. That's our aim for the next year.
Nah.
You said this about 2 or 3 years in the trot. I mean, sure, I've always told you to ram it.
Oh, but I think now you can give it a miss if you want. I think me, Hunter, Dubs, and Kyle would do it, and you two can just fuck off if they want to do it.
Well, based on the movie selections that we've had for the next 2 weeks' episodes, maybe it's a wise idea to exclude these two.
Beer 52 has some of the most amazing, unique craft beers that you can get. You can enjoy these in such places like your grans spare room whilst watching your favourite musical, or out on a spontaneous day of comedy and photographs with your friends at the Fringe Festival. To get your free case of unique craft beers from Beer 52, simply go to www.beer52.com/morons.
They just made the crowd heckling if they wish.
That's topical, eh?
That is very topical. So this week, guys, welcome into another episode of Morons Reviewing Movies. This week, Moron Craig was selecting his scene pick. Now, it has been very few and far between the movies that he's actually watched, so I'm shocked that we didn't have a shot at glory or there's only one Jimmy Grimble, but for some reason, Craig has watched a musical. Burnsies, what movie did we watch this week?
So I chose Chicago, which I think I must have watched loads of times, like more than what I thought I had. Because
what's the context of that? Why
I need to know what.
So I'll need to actually check this out with my mum, but I'm sure what it was is that when I used to go up to my grandma and granddad's on like a Friday night after school, is they must have had like very few DVDs or whatever, and I must have watched Chicago on a loop because like when I was watching it and you get to the songs and that, I knew all the words and everything. I'm like, as soon as the song started,
oh man,
my God, this is blowing my mind. This is blowing my mind. What age are you? Just to get my right in the correct mental state for this. What age are you about this time?
A year ago.
The film's 20-year-old, I
don't know. I'm assuming like I must have been at high school, but I'm assuming like 12, 13, 14. I don't really know, to be honest.
Just imagine a teenage
DVD
Burnsies.
wouldn't have been out when you were 12.
No, so you see whatever age you are now, take away 20, that's what age you were.
15 then.
You were dangerously close to an age that you shouldn't have been sitting watching that.
Fucking hell.
It sounds like a form of punishment.
It's 100%. That's definitely punishment.
I'll need to actually confirm this story.
Yeah, but it sounds like actually, you know that Black Mirror episode where the punishment for being a paedophile is you're trapped inside a snow globe and you've got to listen to that Wizard Christmas song for 1,000 years? That's what that sounds like to me, watching Chicago on a loop.
My God. Like, what I want to know is if there was only a small amount of DVDs and you're choosing Chicago, what are the other ones?
Oh, it must have been
again, like my memory. I've said to you this before. It's like my memory, even for like films that we've watched. You could say a film we've watched, and I'm like, no idea what that was about. So I've no chance of remembering them like that. But I'm sure that's must have where it came from. I think that I could have just made this full story up. So I will need to.
I really hope you have.
It's a legitimate choice, but at the same time, it's like I'd rather watch anything bar like a football film or something like that. I couldn't think of anything worse than watching that.
I don't think I've actually watched that many football films. Like, I don't know if I even watched that Jimmy Grimble film, for instance, that you've said, Kyle. Like, I don't think I even have. I've watched Bend It Like Beckham. That was one of our films my grandma and granddad had, actually. Bend It Like Beckham. I watched that up at the house, too.
Mike Bassett, too. You've watched that.
Aye, that wasn't my grandma and granddad, so
yeah.
That must have been the two films it was chosen between, was Chicago and Bend It Like Beckham.
One each, alternating Fridays.
Do you know why they've got those two DVDs? They went to the counter at the co-op where they're shopping, and those have been the two sitting in the basket. You had the choice of two for £7 or whatever.
They're the old Matalan DVDs that I used to talk about.
Aye, that's it. They're just sitting there at the counter waiting for you.
An impulse buy of 99p.
I'm enjoying the fact that his gran and granddad have went and bought them for. Do you know what? Craig will like that.
Okay.
I don't know if it was for me, but I've got like,
so dodgy.
But you made very good use out of it.
Cousins, so maybe it was for them. But I must have definitely been the one who watched it the most.
I mean, the thing is, right, I felt self-conscious watching this myself at the age of 35. Like, to be like a teenager and sit and watching that yourself, I just think that would be like damaging to you.
There's maybe a good reason why you watched it over and over again as a teenager.
I don't know.
Early material. Early wank material. In your granny's house, too. Fucking hell.
Richard,
in the house as well, they've got like a spare bedroom up the stair and like a TV room up the stair, and everyone else is down the stair. So I was up the TV room up the stair myself. So it was.
That's where you were wanking then.
Sorry.
That's where you were wanking up in your.
No, I wasn't. No. I just dropped that in because I knew that's how you would take it.
We might need to release the actual camera footage here, Burns, to show how red you went at them talking about you wanking in your granny's house. But back to the movie itself. So, for those that haven't actually watched this movie, it's
Don't watch it.
Look at you.
Two death row murderesses develop a fierce rivalry when competing for publicity, celebrity, and a sleazy lawyer's attention. So, Burnsy, you chose it. You take it away with your thoughts first, please.
I'm quite disappointed so far, actually, because I absolutely loved this. I was going in thinking, like, there might be someone who backs me up here, but I think I'm going to be all by myself when reviewing and giving this a score, to be honest. As I say, it's like I was singing and humming along to every song, thought it was class for that points of it. I'd say it's the film that I've watched where I've enjoyed the music the most as well, out of all the films that we've watched too. What else? It's like, it was quite fast paced. I thought it was quite funny at certain stages. I liked how it sort of broke up the film with the music, and obviously it goes off into various points where Richard. I think Richard Gere was as good as what he was in Pretty Women. I thought he was the only. I thought Renée Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones, I thought they were both class. But Richard Gere, I don't know if it's because I've seen films where he is really good, or whether he just wasn't as. I don't know if you'll probably come on to this in the trivia later, but if there was someone else that could have been put in his position as that character, I think it would have worked a bit better.
I was just going to say, Burnsy, I actually agree with you on the actors, especially Renée Zellweger. I thought she was really good. Particularly because obviously the plot, it kind of requires her to play like kind of two different parts a wee bit, because she's kind of lying about who she is and what she's done and stuff. So that's kind of that's good acting in itself. You know what I mean? You've got to do those two different colours, whereas everybody else kind of just plays the one role and that's it. I wanted to say as well, you mentioned about you kind of alluded to it about they broke up the songs with the plot, if that makes sense. Like these films are just no my thing at all, but I think what they do is like that they intersperse most of the songs in it anyway with like plot as well. So it's not like it's literally just like I watched so obviously this is a musical, right? I watched Hamilton with Leslie, and it's literally just somebody's filmed the musical, and I was like, I would actually like blow my head off if I had to sit and watch that for like 2-3 hours. Just literally just song after song after song, wee bits of dialogue like squeezed in between, but mainly just like singing. I just that is just blows my mind how folk can sit and watch that.
You better hope Kyle doesn't get his way then.
I tried to get that movie in as one of the movies for us to watch before, and was
but there's not a movie. That's the thing.
Exactly.
That's a recording on
a stage. Like
it's not what IMDb says.
If we're getting that, we get like AC/DC live by fucking Wembley. Do you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing.
Nah. I mean,
I just wanted to
it, but I'll be fucking shitting all over it.
I just wanted to come in and ask a question about the Renée Zellweger character, because the whole film is obviously based around her shooting her lover, right? And she shoots him because he basically lies to her and uses her. But my question is, who's the bigger con artist here, her or him? Because she's only sleeping with him to get into what she thinks is Hollywood.
Further her career, basically. Yeah.
She just wants to be famous.
I don't think that's very cryptic, Kyle. I think it's very clear that she's...
No, it's not cryptic within the movie itself, but when I seen that, I thought, you know, he's a dick because he's led her down the garden path and he's not got the contacts that he's made out he is. But then, so he's used her, but she's also spent the whole time using him, but she's got angry because he's used her, although she's using him.
So basically, she's just got played that main game, and she's no happy with it.
And that's what it made me laugh, because I thought, do you know what, you're just as bad as him in this scenario, but you've killed him for his part of it.
Do you not think he knew that she was using him though anyway?
Aye, it was very clear.
You've not really got a lot of chance to know what his kind of game plan is. The Dominic West character, like he just kind of pumps her, and then like as soon as they're finished, they just can't be arsed with her, and then the next minute he's fucking got 2 bullets in him, basically. He's lying on the ground. So you didn't really. I wanted to comment on him actually. Obviously, he's in The Wire. It's like the main character,
right?
And he's in a program called The Affair as well.
Aye.
He plays he's British, but he plays Americans in all those shows, and he's like a sex crazed like maniac as well. And he was kind of the same character in this as well. I just thought it was quite funny.
I thought it was actually, although it was really on the small part, like I hadn't written this down, I thought he actually, you could tell it wasn't someone who was just like like somebody who was in really minor parts or whatever. You could tell he had something about him. I don't know if this was like early on in his career or whatever. Or
no, he better be good at that part, because it's the only fucking part he plays, basically. That and Prince Charles, basically.
But I thought it was pretty decent, even though it was a really...
It's brilliant. He's
on that note, Dubs, there's another sex crazy maniac that he's played as well.
Prince Charles, I know, I was going to say that there. I was going to say that.
Yeah. Well, Burnsy, just to back you up here, maybe be the sole and only person that's going to back you up here, but I really enjoyed it.
Oh, lovely. I didn't expect another person to actually have the same opinion as me.
No, I did. I thought, do you know what? Between the 2 movies that we've watched that we're going to review this week and next week, this is fucking leaps and bounds the best out of the 2.
Steady.
You're making quite a point on that. That's about 4 or 5 times that you've mentioned about this other film. I don't know what your game plan is here.
Fucking
I wouldn't worry, Sean.
I'm not worried at all, but he's definitely getting called out next week. He's getting called out hard.
Sean, I think it's time to go back to that WhatsApp and start digging up dirt again.
Well, maybe I've already done that.
But no, I quite enjoyed it. Like Burnsy said, it was quite fast paced. It was quite entertaining. I quite liked the musical side of it as well. I thought the story was quite interesting. I quite liked the jump between who was the flavour of the month for the for Richard Gere's character to have in the spotlight. It was quite a straightforward story. It's not like a mind-blowing one or anything like that at all, but yeah, I found myself quite happy watching it, bobbing along. Like Burnsy was saying, the songs were quite entertaining and engaging as well. Renée Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones were excellent. The kind of, I don't know what they called it again. It was like the Jailhouse Rock scene or something like that, where they had all the different women coming in.
It was called the song.
What, sorry?
He Had It Coming. You're talking about.
Yeah,
it's talking about all the women, how they murdered their partners, basically.
I thought that was brilliant.
That was the best one in it. Aye, definitely.
That whole scene was brilliant, and they're very provocative as well, which I fair enjoyed. It was I'm more than happy with this movie, Burnsy. Great selection.
I was just going to add as well, as like my two favourite pieces of the music were probably the.
You never need to add in that bit at the end.
No, I wasn't even going to take this one actually. I think because these are the.
That's the title of the episode. Like
what was
two
that?
favourite pieces.
I haven't even clicked when I said that.
That's why it's funny.
I feel really the fact that Kel's music before. I didn't even click on. I think this is because, like, for me, as I said before, as soon as the song started, I could remember all the words. It's like that, all that jazz and the razzle dazzle one where he's in the courtroom. I thought that was really well done as well. And I think if there, like you said, Dubs, if there was, they just went off and did like a scene with the music and that wasn't even related, I'd be like, what on earth is going on here? But because it actually added to the story, it made it not that you could switch off, but in terms it was because it was more light-hearted and like more amusing, instead of it being just all about the storyline. It's not obviously like a really serious storyline. You can tell it is a bit light-hearted, even though it's about people just going about and killing their partners or whatever. It doesn't ever get into depths of seriousness or whatever too. But I would say this is probably one of the most enjoyable films that I've watched since we've been doing our podcast. Like, that's how much I enjoyed it.
I was going to say about your points about how it's like the plot and stuff. It's just really about like murder. I think that's one thing that's a big like flaw of the movie. The fact that they just kind of downplay how many like murders are taking place, and that really they're all doing it for like to further their careers. Like I think that one thing that really pissed me off about the film, and the way that it ends, really, where they're like on stage with like the Tommy guns and that. I know it's Chicago, so they're referencing Al Capone with that, but I just didn't really like that at all.
I agree.
Daniel, you've not really said much.
I was trying to take notes for this one, right? So I took 3 notes, so I didn't need to look at them so I can remember them. So it's been interesting listening to what everyone's had to say. I've very much enjoyed it. It's not gone the way I expected, but it's been interesting.
Was that one of the notes, or was that something that you just
two of them?
Notes, right? But I've got my first note was I did have a favourite song, which was Dilemma by Nelly and Kelly Rowland, which came on during one of the adverts that I had to endure.
That is a banger, like.
So I got 30 seconds of Dilemma, which was fucking excellent. Take me away for this fucking garbage.
Sure, that gives it a score though. Puts up a wee bit if you got to listen to that. If you're that delighted with it, sure gives it a 0.5 or something.
It gave me a little break away for the torture that was going on, like having to watch it. No, but in all seriousness though, right, I did have a favourite courtroom scene. So when I went to the courtroom bit, I obviously like picked up a wee bit. And that was the Judge Judy advert that came on about 3/4 of the way through.
She's changed her name, hasn't she?
Aye, she's now, I don't know, something else.
Judy Justice.
Judy Justice.
That sounds like a wrestler.
Sid Justice's daughter.
Aye.
Those were my 2 advert jokes I had. But about the actual film, like, I really didn't enjoy this, man. It was a real struggle for me. Like, I don't really mind. See, I can deal with a musical. You were saying, Dubs, about the worst time being sitting watching it. I've actually been to see a few musicals that are all right. I even went to see Back to the Future musical not long ago, and it was fine. I would actually much prefer to actually watch the folk do it. But see, watching a movie that's sort of a wee bit like a musical and a wee bit like a film, it's just like the worst thing ever for me. Like, it's just fucking.
I know that we were talking about Hamilton. I think that, like, that's the thing. If I was to go and see it, I would probably enjoy it more. Watching a movie of that is just, it's like you're taking away the most impressive thing of it, because you're not really seeing the choreography what's actually went into it to put that together. That's the most incredible thing about these things. And if you're going to sit and watch it on a fucking 32-inch telly, like that is just fucking, that's the worst way to do that. You know what I mean?
That's spot on. Exactly what you said is exactly how I feel about this. Like, it's just a fucking waste of time for me.
But the thing about this movie is, like, the reason I didn't totally hate it, is because there is a movie there. Like, Leslie told me there's about 80% singing in it or something like that. I was like, I'm going to fucking hate this. It was nowhere near that. Like, it did just have just about enough movie in it that it was palatable, eh?
It was difficult. Like, I find it really insincere. Like, see the point you made earlier on about like them making a joke almost about the topic, right? The bit that really hit home for me is they managed to make me not care about a woman being hung.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
To give a fuck because nothing mattered in this film.
Yeah.
Daniel, I'm assuming based on your score for Citizen Kane that you're probably going to give us what, a 4.5, 4.75.
Brace yourselves for the score. I genuinely thought we might have been on the verge of like catastrophe tonight on like a Zulu Dawn scenario. That's what I was thinking coming in.
I was just going to say is like I think you're obviously saying how they make a joke about the like people being murdered and the hanging and stuff like that, but for me that didn't bother me because they were. Because
it shouldn't bother me either. It's a work of fiction. Do you know what I mean? It's just the fact that I thought the way the film was going to end was that, like, for example, we've not even really mentioned the husband, right? Who's John C. Reilly, who's he's fucking brilliant in it as well, right? And like, I thought maybe he was going to kind of get his own back on his wife or something like that. Like, just that's kind of the way my mind works. But she just kind of ends it with him. It's like the most sympathetic character in it. He doesn't even really get any payoff. It's just that bit was shite, eh?
I just thought because it made it that obvious that it was obviously meant to be. It wasn't meant to be something that was taken as a really serious film. So that's why I just didn't really. I don't really get why that would be a downside to the film. I just don't see why you'd feel that way.
The reason I see it as a downside, I just see it as really bad storytelling. And it's like Dub says, like the characters didn't go anywhere. Like nobody actually develops or changes at any point. Like she's the exact same at the end as she is at the start, right?
The entire crux of the film is basically like, are they two going to end up performing together? And it's like they don't even really get on at any point yet. That they end up performing together, and the justification for it is, oh well, that's what happens in show business. It's like, well, we all fucking know that. Like, is this really what the message of this film is?
And that's what they do progress, though, because they end up on stage together. So they have progressed the characters.
No, but they openly say that they don't like each other.
That's show business.
So that's not like what I mean, Craig. I don't mean like they've moved to a different place as in like they were once apart and now they're on a stage together. I mean like the actual characters themselves at the start are just manipulating folk to try and be famous. By then, still just manipulating folk to try and be famous. And in between, they're manipulating folk to try and be famous. And then there's a couple of scenes in between those ones where they're still manipulating folk to try and be famous. And that's all that happens for 2.5 hours with some shitty songs.
Can we appreciate though the scene when the diary comes into it? I thought that was quality.
Nah, it didn't really land for me that bit.
I liked it. I thought it was a good wee twist to it. The fact that, because I was sold on the fact that this was the other lawyer that would go in, Zeta Jones to do it, and then there was a wee twist. Added more to it for me, but I've got a very simple brain, and I was in a good mood. And this just
wasn't really surprised by that. Like that's what lawyers do. Like that's not a leap of imagination either. That is what they fucking do, lawyers. They're only really
part and evidence. That's what it is.
Yeah. One thing what I was going to say was like, I think the idea of that, like saying, basically if you kill somebody and as long as you get found innocent, it's going to be good for your career. I think that in itself is quite comedic, right? But it's the fact that they just that was all they had. That's what really bothered me about it the most. And they just kept using that same sort of gag all the way through it, and then it just fucking ends with them cutting about with Tommy guns on stage. Like that was what it done for me, yeah.
And ultimately, O.J. Simpson's shown how unrealistic that is, because his career's doing well, eh?
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Sean, we've not heard much from you on the Chicago, and it doesn't seem like we're going to hear much from you when you start talking about it. But let us know your thoughts.
Thanks. Really similar to, well, exactly the same as Daniel. I hated this. Obviously, I watched it today after my work. I purposely kind of left this one as late as possible, just because it's not my kind of scene musicals really. But there's a couple of musicals that I like, but I just this. Dub said that he felt there was enough dialogue in the film that you said it was going to be like 80% songs. You thought. I felt the opposite.
Leslie told me that, and then I was like, I
was totally
dreading it. And
so see, whenever there was a song,
the film, what I was saying was, like, in the songs, a lot of the songs, it wasn't just this is the start of a song and then 5 minutes later it ends. They were kind of doing bits of plot in the songs to keep somebody like me who doesn't like musicals and interested to a point anyway.
I wasn't interested. Anything with a song came on, I just switched off. It felt pure pantomime to me, just the whole film. It felt like I was sitting watching a shite Christmas pantomime. Like fucking, see the ones you get at Christmas, like Jack and the Beanstalk, starring Grado and fucking The Boy Forever City. This just felt it never felt like a film at all. I've never seen Hamilton, as you've kind of touched on before. Obviously, we had a discussion a year ago now when Kyle wanted to pick it, but I couldn't imagine sitting through anything like this again. This just feels like you're watching, as you said, something on stage that's on a telly, but it just feels really pantomime and really like almost slapstick at times. I couldn't concentrate on it at all. I genuinely did want to turn it off about half an hour into the film. I didn't. I sat and watched it all, but I genuinely fucking hated this. And as Daniel said, I was also expecting a total like zero across the board apart from Burnsies. I thought that everybody would hate this. I didn't anticipate that you would like it, Kyle, although I'm not surprised. Your taste in film's pretty shit. But I was so relieved when it was done. I hated every minute of this, every single minute, and obviously I'll never ever watch it again. Musicals that I do, I like Grease. I would have happily sat and watched Grease. There's another one starring, it's quite a recent musical. Who the fuck's in it again? Russell Brand's in it. I can't remember the name of it, but I like that one. I actually can't remember the name of it. Check that.
Sunshine on Leaf's a good one.
I've never seen Sunshine on Leaf.
Very good one.
But I absolutely hated this.
Well, let's see if we can get another person backing us up here, Craig. Let's go to Hunter, and he's not had much to say. And I'm not sure quite what camp he's in, Burnsies. Let's see if he comes with us.
It's a hard no, I'm afraid.
Not even close to getting in our hand.
I don't think I'm going to be as harsh as Daniel and Sean, but it's definitely, I did feel like I was putting a shift in having to watch this, kind of similar to what, like, it's no my cup of tea musicals, like, in general. There were a couple, like, as kind of Dubs has alluded to, there was enough of a film in there to keep it motoring along, but I mean, the idea, if there was any more songs in this, that would have been mental and physical torture. If had one of those all senses would have been offended. I would have tasted the shite that was coming for that screen at one point too.
So bad it even tasted like shite.
Burnsies, these boys with no imagination, eh?
I'm just quite happy. It's like, because I came in thinking, I hope they don't change my mind about the film, and none of these have made any valid points, so I'm standing strong. And
I've just checked, right, and there was 18 songs in the film. That's like an hour 50 minutes. That's like an average. I know, but I mean, I just feel like it was just constant singing. It's like a song every 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's a musical.
I know, but
to back Sean up, right? I'm going to back Sean up here. Like, there are musical films, like he's mentioned Grease, right? The reason Grease is good is there's like either some songs, but there's a lot more. It's a movie with songs in it, if you know what I mean.
It's like kind of like Disney films and that tale the same. The films with songs in them.
Brilliant. I love them.
This should have just remained on the stage.
Yes, I'm sure it's an amazing live experience, and I'm sure the people that do it on Broadway are super talented, and it's a great thing to go and see. But like you said,
I've never really looked at the reviews of the movie. I don't know how the movie like fared.
Oscar
Well,
winner.
it won Best Picture at the Oscars, so there you go.
Best Picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god.
See, when you were like younger, and like you would go to like the Blockbuster or the movie shop in Stennismuir like to rent a film at the weekend. So you've got a wide open choice of films, hundreds of films, different kinds of films. Would you choose like a video copy of fucking Cinderella live at the Dobie Hall to take back and watch at the weekend? Like this just felt like that for me. Just it never felt serious at any point. And I know like, whatever, but
it's not meant to be though. I don't think
it's a film about murder. It should be serious.
But to me, like they clearly didn't want it to be serious though. Like that's the point. I don't think they went in and thought, right, we're going to make a really serious film about murder and just fill it with songs and telling folk they can just go about shooting folk that cheat on them and they'll end up on the stage.
No, so I think, see, if you were to go and watch Chicago the musical, right, in a live audience, see the bit where that woman gets hung. I would bet everyone gasps. Like,
Maybe that's what we should do. We should all go and watch Chicago the musical and see if you change your mind.
No, I'm sure I would love the musical, right? But to say that it's not, I feel like we're missing. Like, it still needs to be something, right? Otherwise, what's the point in showing a woman being hung if you're not meant to feel something when you watch it? That's the whole point in a film, right?
Right.
So this didn't do that.
I didn't really enjoy that bit either. I didn't think it landed at all. They tried to make it like it was like a circus act, and it was like a vanishing act, and it was like, nah, like it didn't land for me. Like,
just to go back to the Oscar Best Picture winner, it was in a category against.
I was going to ask you who were the nominees.
So the nominees were a movie called The Hours.
Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman's in that.
No idea. The Pianist.
Well, a paedophile made that, so I'm glad I didn't win.
Polanski.
Gangs in New York was the next one.
Overrated. I
wasn't a fan of that either, to be honest.
And the last one was The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
I'm not a fan of that movie either.
That's my favourite out of the trilogy.
No, that's my worst by far.
I think on the Lord of the Rings, the first one's not got enough battles and shit. The third one's got too many battles and shit. The middle's got the perfect amount of battles and dialogue. That's why I like
battles and shit. That's why we didn't like the same films, basically.
And Daniel,
I like too much battles either. I like a wee bit because the third one.
The first Lord of the Rings film is a fucking masterpiece. Like, it's one of the best films ever. It's awesome.
You should definitely getting that on the film list soon. Daniel, just one last thing.
Done anything? No.
Hobbit.
Just the Hobbit.
That was dreadful. I think I gave that a 0. Absolute horseshit.
That never went down well.
The same year at the Oscars, we had the best animated feature film was the criminally low rated by the Morons, Spirited Away.
Oh, that's so good. Such a good film.
You should watch
Robin, actually, Dubs.
Sorry,
you should watch it with your daughter. Spirited Away. It's brilliant.
I'll put that on the list. Like, I think we were talking about it earlier. She wants to watch Jurassic Park because when she was like really wee, obviously we could only get to the bit with the T-Rex, and then she just wanted it bit off. I'm talking like when she's like 3 years, no way she should have been watching it. In the first place. Like, I'm just like, let's just fucking watch it and see how you get on with everything, basically.
That would be class. I love that. Jurassic Park.
I'm always on the hunt for like inspiration, so I'll make a note of that.
And we must take a point here to give a shout out to Biff's Reviewing Movies. I do quite enjoy the Biff's Reviewing Movies updates in the podcast, so well done, Robin. Does anyone want to share any more thoughts on Chicago? We've blasted through this very, very quickly. It seems very polarising responses so far. Don't all shout in at once, guys.
No, I'm all good.
I've said all I need to say on this one. Like, I do want to say John C. Reilly was good. That's what's going to away from it.
I said that as well. I could never imagine him doing like a singing bit either. Yeah, like he was really good. His song was really good, I thought.
In fact, does he not do any singing in Wreck-It Ralph and Wreck-It Ralph 2?
Maybe.
I never got that far in Wreck-It Ralph 2 because I realised I was watching the wrong film, so I had to turn it off.
The only thing I would say is like obviously because I'd watched this numerous times, is I don't know whether I would have enjoyed it as much on first viewing as all you. So I don't know if maybe it helps because I'm watching it and thinking, oh, here's that song, I know that song, oh, I know bits of the film. Like when you said, Kel, about the courtroom bit, and you said how you loved the twist, as although I knew that was coming, as I thought it was still good as well, but I know none of you are going to watch it again apart from Kel, so it's not obviously going to land in terms of watching it 2 or 3 times or whatever. Maybe that's why I enjoyed it as much as what I did as well.
There are a few things in life that you must check. You must check your wages are in the bank at the end of the month. You must check one of your friends hasn't made an illegal transfer in your fantasy league. And you must also check
your bollocks.
Cajonas Scotland have the website for you to learn how to do just that. Head over to cajonasscotland.org for your self-help guide on how to check your bollocks.
You going to watch it in your bed at 2 o'clock in the morning tonight?
Maybe the morning night.
Maybe the morning.
So you can see his 2 favourite pieces.
Rizzle jizzle.
Bit nostalgia back to those nights spent in his granny's spare room. Hunter, do you have much trivia for this Oscar-winning movie?
I do, yes. So, firstly, the role of Billy Flynn was offered to John Travolta several times before eventually going to Richard Gere. This is the 4th movie that Travolta has turned down that Gere has accepted, the others being American Gigolo, Days of Heaven, and An Officer and a Gentleman. Travolta has said that he deeply regrets declining the part. A long battle between the agents of Renée Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones over billing on the movie poster. In the end, they were diagonal billed, which was settled upon. So depending on what way you read the poster, one of them was top of the bill.
Fuck me, man.
Yeah. Just when you mentioned that, is I think Dubs, I meant to actually say earlier, is like Dubs made a really good point in terms of Renée Zellweger, how they can play the 2 sides. Like she comes across as this innocent person, and then it changes in terms of this person.
I thought she was miles in front of Catherine Zeta-Jones. Like,
yeah,
Renée Zellweger and the husband were the 2 best folk in the movie. Well, Richard Gere was shite. And I'll tell you this right now, I've actually got this in my notes. I'm sure his first song, his voice is completely dubbed. It's no actually, it's maybe as him singing, but it's completely dubbed over what he's like, the mouth movements, because it's completely out of place.
Is that the end where he's tap dancing too?
No, it's when he's got like the kind of raggy clothes on, and then you see him in real life and he's got like the big suit on and that, and he's saying how he's not really interested in money when he clearly is. Like, that was fucking rancid, that bit.
I've never liked him as an actor. He always gives me the creep.
And was there no thing about him putting ferrets up his arse too, or something like that as well?
Hamsters.
Hamsters.
All right.
Eminem
I want to go over the top, eh?
Eminem mentions it in a song, doesn't he?
I think so, aye. We've discussed it before. Like, I'm sure we discussed it way back in the podcast, but I'm just like wondering how we got them in there.
I think it was one of the episode names as well. I'm sure that's what we went with one week.
So the first act of animal cruelty is committed when he lubes up the hamster first. Never mind shoves it up his arse after.
He must have still been in the ball.
Maybe in the ball. Or maybe he just puts the hamster inside a condom and puts that up his arse.
And what is it? Is it just they're just like the rummaging? Or I don't know. What's the appeal?
I mean, what is it? Is he doting the hamster tweets up there first and then letting it run wild?
Aye, and you're kind of like, it's a bit like putting a phone up there. Like, you're waiting on somebody phoning you before
you could set an alarm.
You could just get in there and like, this is fucking great. Like, I'm roasting. Like, I'm just going to stay here forever.
Will it be FaceTime? Hunter, let's keep going with the trivia. Let's get away from Richard Gere's arsehole.
So the $5,000 fee that Billy Flynn charged Roxy Hart is worth, I don't know what year this bit of trivia came from, but whatever year it was inflation took that to $61,500 in today's money.
Does anybody actually know when the film's meant or the musical's meant to be set? No,
1924. When about then? Aye.
I was going to say that because I don't know how many have watched Boardwalk Empire, but there's quite a few like no references to Boardwalk, but there's a few things that are similar in it.
Aye.
Obviously, there's quite a lot of Boardwalk that's set in Chicago. There's obviously there's mentioning like bootlegging as well, and obviously the kind of musical numbers. There's loads of them in Boardwalk, and there's actually a club called the Onyx Club as well, which obviously the first club when they're performing Catherine Zeta-Jones, that's what the club's called.
Nice.
So that was quite weird, eh?
That's
funny. You were like a Boardwalk Empire savant, and you just picked up all these wee things watching this.
And I haven't even really watched it that many times, but right away I was like, there's fucking loads of similarities. And they mention Al Capone, he's a character in it as well.
That puts your score up to at least a 3.5 now, Dubs.
No, never.
On that, in 2005, this movie was named as one of the 20 most overrated movies of all time by Premiere Magazine. It was nominated for 12 Oscars. It won 6, and as we've mentioned before, Best Picture was won. Best Supporting Actress to Catherine Zeta-Jones. Costume design, film editing, sound mixing, and production design. It's also John C. Reilly's only Oscar nomination to date.
I knew he was nominated, and that was fully deserved. Like, but Catherine Zeta-Jones, get the fuck. Like that is just they just wanted Michael Douglas and her to be at the Oscars. That's the only reason for the award. Next.
And final one, going full circle back to our pre-pod discussion about Brookside. Michael Jackson was considered at one point for the role of Billy Flynn, as he was director Rob Marshall's original choice for the role. However, Harvey Weinstein objected because he thought he would upstage Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renée Zellweger.
I was going to say about Michael Jackson, sorry Kyle, I know you're wanting to come in, but the hamster budget would have went through the roof if Michael Jackson was in this movie. Like.
I'm going to direct us away from sex offenders and paedophiles and go back to the comment made about the 20 most overrated movies of all times based on the Premiere Magazine. So Chicago was second. Any guesses on what was number 1?
The most overrated movie of all time?
Yeah, I've only got the top 3 here, by the way, guys, so don't be blasting.
Citizen Kane.
Nope.
Crash. That one that won the Oscars, Crash. Nah.
Nope.
I've not seen that, Daniel. Is it terrible? Like
terrible. One of the worst films ever. It's really no aged well either, like in the modern world.
Nothing about that film. Absolutely nothing about it.
Nah, just tell us, Kyle.
Forrest Gump.
Fuck off. That's a fucking great movie.
Aye. Get that in the bin.
That's like Shawshank or like you can't possibly know like that movie.
So
that magazine's a load of rubbish. So this is definitely not overrated. So there you go. Take that.
The movie that's in third place was American Beauty.
Where was No Country for Old Men?
American Beauty's a great movie as well. Have you seen that? No.
Yeah.
I've seen it. It's not been on this though.
Oh, it's a fucking great movie.
I'd love to hear Bunsey talk about it.
I don't think anybody would dislike that. That would be a close.
I would like it.
There's a love triangle. It's enough to keep Bunsey interested anyway.
There's 2 pieces in that too. Like that.
There's a love triangle in this one. That was good as well, wasn't it?
and a pregnancy.
Was I? Gives you everything.
Right, let's get to the scoring then. This will be interesting. Burns, I think we should do the right thing. Come to you first.
5.
Let's just leave a little bit of silence there.
You're laughing.
He gave Space Odyssey 0.25. So I just want to say that.
I came in with that and I was thinking you might bring me down, but I'm happy.
5.
Let's 0.25. A 0.25 to Space Odyssey and a 5 to a film you used to wank over at your grand's house. Fuck me.
Sean, we'll come to you for the next score.
0.
We now officially have the biggest variance, I think, in two scores given to the one movie ever.
And there's going to be another 0 coming, is there no?
Aye.
Hunter?
1.
I'm going to come in here. I'm going to come in here with a 3.5. Dubs?
Aye. I think as these type of movies go, I didn't think it was terrible. Some of the acting was good in it and stuff. I think it was really well made. But obviously they probably had one of the biggest budgets ever for a movie like this. But I've discussed the ending and all that, so I'm going to give it a 2.25.
2.25 is good. Daniel?
So it gets 1 mark up for the adverts that I enjoyed. And it gets 1 mark up. And another mark up for John C. Reilly's performance, so 0.5.
I feel like but the point for the advert should go to Freevee as a streaming platform, not to the film.
You need all the help they can get.
I know. So they're very, very lucky I got that little bit of dilemma in there. Otherwise, it was a 0.25.
Burnsies, what does that do to the overall scoring?
A 2.04.
I'm definitely wanting that checked because he's adding points onto that, right?
I'm no Daniel. I didn't cheat all the time, so it's fine.
He's forgot to add the 0.
Sorry, Burnsies, just a
2.04.
A 2.04. Let's get a quick look to see what movies that goes in line with. A 2.04 puts this movie directly in between Zodiac and a combination of movies which is 300, JFK, The Crow, and Us.
This being level with JFK is that's scandalous.
Are you pro JFK movie, Dubs?
I don't know who picked that when you reviewed it. Who was
I
it?
think it was me.
I mentioned it to somebody.
Aye, you'd
Possibly
mentioned
Burnsies.
in the chat before we watched it. Aye.
But Daniel wasn't a fan.
No, that's no surprise there.
It's just not a good film. Like, I like the subject matter in that, but it's just not a good film.
Rubbish.
Well, that does bring us to the end of this episode of Chicago. Burnsies, how do you feel after the scores come in?
I was kind of as expected, maybe a wee bit disappointed, but...
You thought it was going to be higher? I think you've been lucky, like.
No, well, I didn't think probably Kyle giving it a 3.5 was big, like higher than what I thought, but I didn't think it would get as low scoring from like Sean Hunt and Daniel, because I've watched some absolute shite, and this is no anywhere near some of the stuff we've had to watch. I think you've got a vendetta against my picks, to be honest. Out there.
I like your picks usually because you recently went through a phase of just doing unseen, and that was quite good. You should go back to that.
Please do.
What a vote of confidence that was.
If my unseen picks are as bad as what Sean's are, then you wouldn't have the same opinion. So
you really don't need to go defensive because somebody didn't like your childhood film. It is what it is. We've all got different tastes.
It wasn't a child.
A teenager.
You've probably drinking and all that at this point as well.
Almost certainly.
Almost certainly. Right, guys, that does bring us to the end, though, and as Morons do, bid you farewell.
Bye.
This is always the most awkward bit.
Okay.
Sorry I don't speak moron as well as you, but let me try.
What the hell is supposed to do, you moron?
It's a moron. That's not against the law.
Gun! You fucking moron!
Dressed up like Batman.
Because he is Batman, you moron.
What are you, a fucking moron?
You moron. Drop dead. Moron.
Whoa!
Up here, you morons.
Stepping morons like yourself.
Me down, you moron! Hey, moron!
Bid you farewell and good luck, morons. Bye.